in vitamins and minerals, and they're really good for you. But better are sprouts. So sprouts have anywhere between 100 to 600 times the amount of nutrients than a dark leafy green. So the microgreens have more nutrients and richer in chlorophyll than macrogreens and the dark leafy greens. So you can add sprouts into your diet. One of my favorite sprouts are sunflower sprouts. Anyone eat sunflower sprouts ever? Sometimes. So sunflower sprouts, you'll find, like microgreens, a lot of chefs will garnish with it. So I always find I'm always eating the garnish because it's probably the best part of the meal. But it has almost like it has a skinny long stem, and it has almost like two little like clover leaves, kind of, like it has just two little leaves at the end. So these tiny little sprouts. You'll probably see them on garnish, but these sunflower sprouts are probably the most nutrient dense and the richest in chlorophyll out of all sprouts that you can possibly have. And they're really fresh tasting. They taste like a romaine lettuce. Like when you're biting into romaine lettuce, sometimes it has that freshness and crispness to it. It has that same thing. So it's really delicious. Great blended into smoothies. Sometimes I'll just get my blender and I'll throw a whole bunch of sunflower sprouts in there and just add water and some frozen fruit and berries and blend it up and have it as a, for breakfast, and you literally feel your face glow. Like you just feel your skin. It's so hydrating. You just feel so vibrant and energized. You'll notice a huge difference, but they're so good. They're great to add to your diet. You can even grow them at home. They can actually grow on a cafeteria tray if you get a cafeteria tray and you line it with soil. And if you take the raw sunflower seeds and you soak them in water for about 8 to 12 hours, by soaking seeds, you're germinating it. So you're basically increasing the nutritional profile tenfold. So you're actually, the amino acids, the proteins are broken down to amino acids, the fats are broken down to essential fatty acids. So basically, it's becoming alive, and you're activating all the nutrients and you're activating all the enzymes. So what happens is when you take these seeds and you line them on soil, and you take another cafeteria tray and put it on top, and then you line it with bricks. So you can take like the heaviest bricks you have, throw it on top of the cafeteria tray. So you have the cafeteria tray with the soil, your seeds on top, another cafeteria tray covering it, and then bricks. And these little guys, these little sprouts, they're so powerful that they actually grow and lift the bricks as they're growing. So it's pretty cool to see these little tiny little, greens pushing up these big heavy bricks. That's how nutrient dense they are. That's how powerful they are. Because when you think about it, these little sprouts actually have to grow into big, tall sunflowers. So by harvesting them at the beginning stage of their journey, when they're so nutrient dense, that's the best time to consume them. So those are better. Those are better than the dark leafy greens.
Did you say put the bricks on top or on the side?
No, on top. So if here's the yeah. So say you have
like that.
food, and my book is called Rudy. Okay, you're probably got a little smoothie on it. So say you have it here, and then you line the soil, and then you take another book and you put it on top to cover the seeds. It'll actually, and you put the bricks on top of here. It'll actually lift it up. It's really cool. So yeah, it's pretty amazing to see. So those are sprouts. So those are better. Better than that are sea greens. So things like sea vegetables, like arame, nore, wakame. Now these are really great because they're not only rich in vitamins and minerals, but they're really high in trace minerals that you're not going to get from any other plants that are grown on the earth. So things that you get from the sea, you're going to get a lot of extra trace minerals you're not going to get. And trace minerals are kind of like conduits. They really help things happen in your body. So they're kind of like energy helpers. So they're really rich in trace minerals. They're really high in iron. So they're a really rich source of plant-based iron. High in the amino acid tyrosine. So remember, tyrosine is an amino acid that's responsible for dopamine production, which is our energy and motivation and drive. It's the neurotransmitter to get us going in the day. And then we have, but one of the best in terms of sea greens, and there's algae. So there's blue-green algae or green algae. And one of the highest source of chlorophyll in the world is chlorella. Now, chlorella is made up of two things. So chlorophyll, so basically it's made up of primarily chlorophyll, which is what gives it its green color. And if you get the powder form of chlorella and you open it thinking that it's tabs like I did that by accident. I opened it and I had powder fly all over my kitchen, and I was literally scrubbing it out of my tiles for like 6 months. I could not get it out, but because it's such a rich source of chlorophyll. So it's the highest in the world. And what's also great about it is, so the other component of it is something called the chlorella growth factor. Now, the chlorella growth factor is made up of things like beta-glucans and polysaccharides and nucleic acids such as RNA and DNA. And what these do is they're really immune boosting and anti-aging. So actually there was a study done that showed that those with severely suppressed immune systems, so those who went through chemotherapy treatment, which basically their immune system is completely shot. Those who supplemented with chlorella during recovery recovered, I think, 35 times faster than those who didn't. So it really helps with immune boosting properties, especially when you're under extreme stress. And it really helps to activate your natural killer cells and B cells, which fight off pathogens and disease. But what's also great about it is it's rich in nucleic acids such as RNA and DNA. So when we think of our cells, our bodies are made up of cells, and as we age, with environmental factors, just living, our cells can start to break down, and this is how aging occurs and disease occurs. Now, when you think of it like a road, like concrete. If you look at concrete, over time, through wear and tear and environmental factors, there might be little cracks and crevices in the road. So by supplementing with foods rich in RNA and DNA, it's like pouring fresh cement on top of the concrete and filling in all those gaps. Right? So that's what supplementing with foods rich in nucleic acids does to our body's own cells. It actually strengthens our DNA, it actually strengthens our cells and repairs it. So it has amazing anti-aging benefits, has amazing disease prevention benefits, and amazing energy boosting benefits. Chlorella is also a great source of all your B vitamins. It has your full spectrum of B vitamins that you're getting. It's a really rich source of iron, as I mentioned, tyrosine as well, also really high in iodine. Now, our thyroid is part of our endocrine system, and what happens is sometimes if we have an underactive thyroid, we might feel like really lethargic all the time, we might feel really tired and worn down, or sometimes when people are trying to lose weight and they feel like I can't lose weight no matter what I do, I'm exercising, I'm eating well, sometimes it can be an underactive thyroid. Iodine, in order for your thyroid to work properly, it has to absorb iodine from your blood to manufacture and distribute hormones throughout your body. Now, by supplementing with foods rich in iodine, like chlorella, it actually helps that process. So it'll actually help your thyroid function properly and your endocrine system work properly, and really boost your energy levels. So chlorella is also really good on detoxification properties. Because of the high chlorophyll, it will actually pull heavy metals from your body. So if anyone's doing a cleanse, really good for that. 60% protein. Also, if you are starting to take chlorella, I would just start on a small dosage because of the detox properties. You might get some detox symptoms, but notice that after like 3 to 5 days of taking it, you'll feel like $1,000,000. So the first couple of days, your body might be going through a little cleanse. That's totally normal. You need to do that. In order to achieve optimal health, you need to kind of get rid of the bad stuff that's kicking around in your body. So chlorella is like the top of the food chain when it comes to chlorophyll and energy boosting nutrients. I was in investments for about 7 years before I went into nutrition, and I know, totally crazy. But nutrition was passion my whole life, and but I was in the office, and I was always like learning and like making up recipes and stuff, and people would be like, "What are you doing? Where do you get your energy from?" And I'm like, "I swear it's chlorella. Honestly, like, I think it's the best thing. If I don't take it for a few days, I'm like, what's wrong? Something's off," and I'm like, chlorella.